Yeah, good morning. And, yeah, I just want you to know that we took real care of Asar's fellas. That's this thing right here. And, I know he wants it back, but he's not getting it. No, 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 no. Oh, yes. Yep. Because, see, your ass is just going to be the first one to go. All y'all homo asses is going in the phallus. See, look, this, and I just want you to know that we have regenerated a future young popey wopies, so we can all just stick it to each other and just keep it real, you know. And I'll be getting in my helicopter to go to my lair, where I have a fresh supply of young boy blood and other things just readily available. See, peace and blessings. Look, there you go, and there's the judge.
Night. Where were his hands? How long did the incident occur? They say that there are some inconsistencies there, but there are no major ones, and so as a result, I think that it was certainly a net positive for him to have taken the stand.
It is a classic he said, she said. I mean, it has us here in the studio buzzing, and to be able to prove something like that, is that what they're really up against right now?
The problem is they have to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. And as a result, I will be stunned if there's a conviction here. And I don't say that lightly. That does not mean she's lying. That does not mean prosecutors.
See, this is one of the advantages of being white, see, because he's not on trial for rape. No, see, they say that he's being trialed for having unconsensual sex. Now, the girl says he raped her, but his case arrangers decides, meaning the prosecutors, no, see, this guy is an up-and-coming, scrapping young quarterback that's on trial, and he happens to be white, in case you didn't know. So, like, if he was Kobe Bryant, then, you know, fuck that he's an NBA all-star basketball player, celebrity. If he gets accused of rape by a white girl, then it's rape. See how that works? But now, this guy, who is Popey Wopey's grandson, gets accused of unconsensual sex. Meaning that the girl said she got raped, and the prosecutor said, no, see, honey, you didn't get raped. He just had sex with you, allegedly, without your consent. See? That's what I set up. As Pope. And I got all these scrappy young men that I'm going to take care of until the day I die. And on the side, you know, they take care of me. You know. We keep that on the down, though, because I'm getting excited. And I got to get in my helicopter and go to my lair. Peace and blessings. Oh, just one more thing. Spring is in the air. And trees will grow. And so with forest fires too, so get prepared. Peace and blessings.
Of a white guy, or this cross. See this on this throne. This is life and mortality, birth and rebirth, the rise of the sun. Do you see the Ankh pushing the sun up? The Ankh is pushing up life, the life of the SON son as well as the daughter. See, let me break it down to you. There's the sun. Look. See the life force coming down? You see the V right there? Look at it. Do you see the V? See that? That's the woman's vagina. Look. See that diamond? Do you see it? Do you see it? This is where the baby will ride at during the constellation of Virgo, December the 25th, when all the God men are born. That's the V. Okay, now this V, if you look at it, is also a Y. See? Now look, let me break something down to you. This right here will be the green light that bring life to earth. It's like a birth canal, and the Ankh is also the man's phallus, but it's also the woman birth canal. All these things are synonymous, and all of this symbolism that you will be able to identify once you study this stuff. Okay, this is the digit. It's also the square. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are based on your higher 4 chakras. Right there would normally be Asar's eyes. Right there is what you see sometimes. But in this case, this is not Asar. See, this is Ra, which is also Asar. But they have different attributes that, like I said, according to where they are positioned at in relativity to the earth. So wherever the sun is at plays a significant part on what type of sustainment is sending to the earth. And that plays a significant role in what type of consciousness the recipients of the earth are going to be under. So the reason why Mount Timon was now to be put on the earth is because we knew about this New World Order shit and how horrible it is. Okay, we just want to ride this out and see just how far people were willing to go. And I mean, it's so, you don't have a clue. People is really puking. Can't believe the ignorance and the greed, you know, and the total disregard for life. Just can't believe it. Anyway, you can see the eyes all have the eye rock. This is your natural outline of your eyes. The tears of Ra crying from the mischievous deeds of his children, made children on the earth. I'm talking about his children in the godly arena caused him so much sorrow that he cried, and when his tears fell to the earth, it created mankind on the earth. We all know that's one of the fables, right? We're not going around with that. Folks say the tears is symbolic to the yellow sun rays that come to the earth. The creation of people is the actual symbolism of how that occurs. We did form on this earth from the sunlight pushing down and giving instructions to the aggregates of the earth to form us. That's how that really happened. Now this throne right here, as you see on the Sister Nephbet, is turned upside down. And if you can see it right here, the throne is turned upright on the set. Now this is the Dijed right here of Asar. Now listen, let me explain it to you how it works. These two sisters is like north and south poles around an armature. This would be the armature or the stator inside of a generator. As they spin and expand and collapse around this thing, they create electricity on the earth that goes up to the sun. The sun at the same time sends electricity back to the earth that comes back to the two sisters. Now listen, up in the sky there's more than one sun. There's also two suns. They have the same significant role as these two sisters on earth. In the macrocosm, so is it in the microcosm. Okay? If there is an Asar in the heaven, there must be an Asar on earth. This is the Asar right here. It's just not in the stage of Asar right now. It's in the stage of Ra. But this is definitely the God that you always see accompanying these two women, letting you know that this sun is the same sun representation of Asar. Let me tell you the difference. The inside core of this sun is the blackness, like the black charcoal, that when you put it in your barbecue pit, it's just laying there a whole heap of black. But once you ignite it, you can see the potential of that blackness. But see, that's what this life is. The potential of life is encapsulated inside of the blackness of the female vagina and the black man phallus. You can see that right there. It ain't have nothing to do with no white people. You all came later. And we started teaching you the universal principles of how it worked. And it was all encapsulated in black. So what you guys did is you frowned on the blackness because you didn't possess it. And you wanted everything about what's the real arena of blackness to be hid dormant as you glamorize for yourself and hold ownership of the encompassing reality of regeneration that comes from blackness and your whiteness. When you know there's no white soil. When I was in Hawaii, we find sand that's brown as hell, but just a little bit unbrowned, the most brown sand, and that's your opportunity to call it white sand beach. And you know, there's so many white sand beaches, and when you get to the beach, the sand does not be white. again, trying to fit in and take credit in the universe and create a falsified paradigm of a holographic world inside of your own mind that you know is not true yourself, so you try to perpetuate it by the eradication of all the synonymous people with all the synonymous soil and all the pigments of the nature and everything. And the reason why I keep coming at you with this and saying it over and over and over, because it's very important that it's made 100% perfectly clear of what is the psychosis generator behind the behavior of these melanin recessive people. Why they have to be so destructive to the universe is from straight up envy and knowledge of lacking of pigment. So if left alone, the women being wise, as you can see them paying adoration to the sun, will let this sun not only give them a representation of beautiful skin. You understand? Sunlight will brown them up if left alone and able to have an existence where you worked in the sun to naturally feed and sustain yourself. But in this system where that type of sustainment is eradicated because the controllers know that a lifestyle like that cannot be taxed and controlled and utilized for exploitation, so they eradicate all those type of systems of societal sustainment, and they come in with their jobs that you got to go work in their plants and their textile. We have messed up people with egos that make you die early from dealing with all that shit. These people were not about that. They were about regeneration. As you can see, this turned upside down as if going this way, okay, and this pointed up as if going this way. So what we have here is a set here, and that's bet here. You got to see that in your mind. And they move as the sun moves. So as the sun goes this way, one is on top of the sun and one is under the bottom of the sun, but they always stay arranged with the sun. So as it moves this way, the goddess is right here, right, will move this way. And then the goddess is down here, will move that way. So by the time the sun is right here, it'll be in this position right here. You have a goddess right here, and you have the bottom goddess right here. And that's how they do it until she's finally up here. And this one here is finally down here. You see? But either way it goes, they are always generating around the sun, helping to sustain creation and recreation. So when something dies, it doesn't really die. It just get recreated again, just like when the sun leaves the sky and the sky turns dark. It's not dead. It's just that the visible life force that is still there, encapsulated in the moon, because the moon is still shining light for the sun on the earth. It's just that the limitation of the senses and the unavailable knowledge of how our universe works can make you overlook that. And a lot of people see that as nighttime or death. But a lot of other people see that as if necessary for the melanin part, which is the overall encompassing part. See if you understand what I'm saying. The blackness was here before the sun. So the blackness, as you can see, which is life itself, even gave life to the sun. You see, the sun came out of the regenerative powers of these two ladies. If you're looking at what's going on properly, they are even more powerful than the sun. To tell you why, because they are spiritual energy. And this spiritual energy on the microcosm is what you could look at in the personification of women. But see, on the macrocosm, you got to see the spirituality of that woman's vagina right there. You understand what I'm saying? And then you can see the sun in there. Already in the spiritual world, getting something done enough where, look, this blackness, which is the blackness of space, push that sun out. So God